Hey, what's up, everybody?
Hello, hello. Good afternoon.
Jackie and Stephana here. Ready for another 30-minute powwow with you guys, working on our marriages,
Y'all got your favorite drink, favorite snack, ready to hang out?
ready to unwind with us. Um, if you are, hold on. If you are just, once you join in, guys, whether you're joining in live or on a replay, just give us a shout. Say, hey, what's up? If you haven't been here before, let us know who you are and where you are from. We want to see where people are joining in from all over the place. Because soon, one day, we're going to get out of this COVID-19 stay-at-home order, and we're going to come to a city near you for some sort of event, and we want to know where people are at. So when we're traveling, we can say, hey, we're in town. Let's do a meetup. Come to the event, whatever it may be. So let us know.
I see Nicole Beatty. Hey, sis.
What's up, Nicole? All right. So, for those who don't know, we are Jackie and Stephana Bledsoe, the founders of Happily Married Couples, where we help couples do three things: connect deeper, communicate better, and create marriages worth celebrating.
We all want that, right?
That's what we're working towards. Everybody should desire that who is married. All right, now we're all set. Get to go right there, babe. All right, so we've been talking a lot this week about communication, but we're going to not really switch streams, but we're going to start talking about our marriages and just assessing our marriages. Like, where are we today in the
Mhm.
midst of COVID-19, in the midst of just life in general? At this point in time, how would we rate or how would we assess our marriage?
We're not coming to the D no time soon, sis. Unfortunately, y'all stay safe out there.
We would love to come to Mosaics whenever it gets cleaned up everywhere with the
Hmm.
COVID-19 and we're free to go. We might be up on stage speaking with masks, but we'll come up there and hang out with the Beatty family too. We would love that. All right, I'm going to share this real quick while we're waiting for
I
folks
have
to
to
join
ask
in.
you, Nicole, this is a side note, but have you been to Dime Store since you've been there? Or before you moved there? Maybe you've been there before. Dime Store. If you haven't been, you got to go.
What is Dime Store?
Restaurant.
Is it what kind of food?
It's really unique. I can't really describe it. They have a fancy version of pretty much anything.
So have we been there? Did we go when we went? Where did we go when we went to Mosaic that time?
I don't know. It was a salad place, but when Kim and I went for CCDA, we went.
Oops. All right, y'all. Let's get going. All right. So as you join in, let us know you're here. Let us know where you're meeting us from, joining us from, and what else do we want to know about?
Let's go. How many years married? So we get to know y'all a little bit. How many years have you been married?
Yep, we have been married since June 16th of 2001.
That's right. So somebody, pastor of ours, advised us not to do math in public, but I think we might be able to do that one. It will be 19 years in June.
Yep. It's always whenever our anniversary is approaching, it's always whatever how old our daughter is right now because she was 10 months old when we were married. So it's an easy way to do the math. But if we ever forget how old she is, then we in trouble. Because I have talked to parents and who like they trying to figure out their kids' age. Once you get a certain number, once they get to a certain age, and you have so many, be like, are they turning 32 this year? Or is this their 30th birthday? You don't know. So, but no.
17 years. Congratulations to the Beatties, Team Beatty.
Yes, yes, yes. Congratulations, y'all. All right, y'all. Today we're going to talk about assessing our marriage and where we are at today. So I posted that question on Facebook. I don't know how much interaction I got with it. Uh, some people looks like they may have answered it where they are. Um, some people would still, somebody said partly cloudy, Doc. Fair and partly cloudy. Somebody said 14 years together, 11 married, still newlyweds.
Oh, that's sweet.
Love it, love it, love it.
We should ask them how they remain newlywed-ish after 11 years of marriage and 14 years together. That's good. Good stuff.
Yeah, we're gonna need him to jump over here so we can get in the chat. All right, so today we're gonna talk about assessing our marriage and where we are, and we feel like we've been through every season of marriage, and
Sometimes back into seasons again.
and sometimes back in them, and we actually wrote a book about it called The Seven Rings of Marriage. So we're going to kind of walk through those today, which is a great tool to assess really what season you're in, where you are right now in your marriage, and also give you an idea of what's coming next. So if you're in a tough season right now, if you like my man said, it's partly cloudy, Doc. If you're in that partly cloudy season, you're not always going to be in that partly cloudy season.
Right.
So we want to give you some hope and give you some tools to what to do in that season. So that way you can continue moving, because Dr. Gary Chapman says that marriages either grow or regress. They never stand still. So you're not stuck in that season. You are you're either growing through it or you're regressing backwards. So we want to help you to grow. All right. And that's what we're going to share today. So let me see. Let's jump in. I see some, hey, what's up? Alicia's in there.
Hey, Chica.
Let us know, guys, as you join that you're here. Just give us a shout. Say, hey, what's up, Jackie and Stephana? And Stephana wants to know, and we want to know, I want to know too, how many years you've been married. We've been married almost 19 years. We got a couple on here that's been married 17 years. So let us know. Are y'all brand new? Are y'all seasoned? Where are you at? Because sometimes that impacts or determines kind of what season of marriage and what, as we look to assess our marriage. So let's go. All right. And then share this too with your friends. If your friends ain't here that's married and they sitting at home at 5 o'clock doing nothing today, let them know you got to pour into your marriage and you at least got to show up and have some fun.
That's right.
All right. You ready to rock?
Yep.
All right. So you starting?
Yep. So we are talking about, like Jackie said, the book that he authored, The 7 Rings of Marriage. This is the book. And it is discussing the seasons, if you will. It's a play on words. The 7 rings are the 7 seasons that a marriage typically goes through. And so that first ring is the engagement ring. And so that is the ring where, of course, it's prior to marriage, it's prior to you becoming one, but it is when you are setting the foundation for what your marriage will stand on. So many of us, Jackie and I included, didn't set that foundation well prior to marriage. We learned most of what we know now post marriage, and that made it tough. And that also required God's grace to get it back on track. So we now are really passionate about helping couples to not take that route, because there's some unnecessary challenges that you can avoid if you do it God's way.
Yeah. And for those of you that, like we said, we're 19 years, somebody 17 years. We just read a comment, somebody else like 14 years. Just because we're talking about the engagement ring doesn't mean this does not apply to you. So kind of take out years and where you are, although the rings will flow in that order. Mm-hmm. But think of, okay, how is the foundation of my marriage? Is there something that we both stand on, no matter what ups and downs, no matter what circumstances, no matter what challenges we face, that we can always come back to and center us and build from? So that foundation for us, as Stephana said, is a relationship with Jesus Christ. And that's the foundation we recommend to everybody. And so, okay, so how do you get that? What are some ways? Because each ring, you want to build some skills that will carry on as you go into other rings, because they're going to help you to do that. So in this particular ring, how do we get our foundation set right? How do we get our relationship? Yes, we've said yes to Jesus Christ, but now how do we practice that on a regular basis? So we've talked about it many times. For us, one of the things that we do is prayer. So if we want to have a relationship, individual relationship and a marital relationship centered on Jesus Christ, we got to be talking to him.
Yeah.
We got to be having
and listening, not just talking, but we got to spend time listening, be quiet and hear what he's saying.
Yep. So we want to connect with him in that way. So we want to be praying. We want to be hearing from him, and this listening, like Stephana said, that's in reading is the word. We want to get in our Bibles and find out what he says about marriage, because we're not the authors of marriage. The judge or pastor who married you is not the author of marriage. Our parents, whoever we learned marriage from, is not the author of marriage. He is.
Mm-hmm.
So he knows how to make it function best. So those are two staples that you got to be doing on a regular basis. And that's when you know that your foundation is solid. So some of you may be 15, 16, 17, 25, even 10, whatever it is, years in marriage, and realize that, man, we got some cracks in our foundation. We don't have that stuff solid. So that's fine. Now this is where you got to be intentional and go back and do it. The beauty of it is, and where we are in this particular season, that some of the good things is we have the time to start developing some of these habits again that may have gotten pushed to the wayside because life was just so busy and so many things were being thrown at us.
Yeah, I was thinking about, as you were describing that, there's also some couples who are in the engagement ring and that are solid. Like we work with a young lady that just got married this year. Well, was it 2019? 2019,
yeah, September,
at
October.
the end of it. And solid in their faith and solid in setting up that engagement. So there's some people that you can learn from that may not even be yet where you are years wise, age wise, that you can learn from. So.
Yep. Hey, my cousin Cheryl's in here. How you doing?
Hello,
20
hello,
years.
family.
They've been married for 20 years. Congratulations, y'all. What's up, Paul? What's up, Ada? So real quick, as I see people are coming in here, we are today talking about assessing our marriage, and we're using the 7 rings of marriage as the assessment tool for that today to kind of find out where you are and what is coming next. So we want to figure out where you are today and develop whatever skills, whatever things that you need to get into your marriage to continue growing, because marriages either grow or regress. They never stand still. We want to help you grow. All right. Yep. So we've started out with the engagement ring. That's your foundation, your relationship with Christ. What's the second ring, baby?
It's the wedding ring. So that's making that covenant, making a covenant relationship. It's not a contract. It's the two becoming one. It's no longer 2 individuals, but you become one person and committed for a lifetime.
Yeah. Yeah. That's where, like she said, not a covenant or not a contract, but a covenant. That means no matter what happens, you guys are in it. So how do you practically do that? One of the things that it always jumps out, and if you've been in any kind of church Bible class about marriage, you're gonna hear the verse "leave and cleave." So talking about leaving and cleaving, even our parents. So what does that look like? Does that mean we disown our parents? Does that mean we disown everything that made us who we are to that point? No, but we're going to cling to our spouse. All those other things, we're going to figure out what our thing is. Like I came into marriage seeing my parents. You came in seeing your parents, and we got these in other marriages that we all have seen. We got these ideas of what it's supposed to flow like, but we're going to say, no, you know what? We're going to leave all those ideas and we're going to set our own based on back on ring number 1, the foundation with our relationship in Jesus Christ. All right. So what does that look like practically? That may mean some of the friends and circles you used to run in, especially for the younger couples. Those things you may not be able to change. Yeah, may have to change. May not spend as much time. When we first were married, I don't think we had any, very few married friends. So we were both single, living a pretty single lifestyle, and then we get married, and then we also have a child at the time, and all of our other friends are still in the single lifestyle. So I can remember wanting to hang out with one of my partners, and our thing back in the day, we used to play video games. I was like when PlayStation 1 probably first came out, and we'd be having some hardcore gaming all night, and that was no thing when you're single. And I just thought she knew him, she knew what we did, and when
she'd be all right with it,
it'd be all good. Wasn't all good. So I couldn't stay out till 2 and 3 in the morning playing games, and then coming back home and like, oh, everything's cool. I was just over here at my man's house playing. So that was a relationship that didn't end, but I had to change some of the habits and some of the things that we did.
Yeah.
What else? What are some other practical ways that we need to solidify that commitment?
Yeah, I think the things that we've been talking about earlier in the week, communication, that's something that we had to grow in, and that we're, I think, always going to be growing in that area. But just having to be communicating with your spouse about where you are, what you're doing, when you'll be home, what we're doing, what the plans are, those things that you didn't have to consider when it was just you. So I think that became a big piece too.
Yep. Yep. I was going to say something. I completely lost my train of thought. So we're going to keep on riding. I'm going to remember it later, though. So when I jump back to the wedding ring and go all in, y'all just remember what happened in my mind. All right. So let's keep it moving. Let's keep it moving. What we got?
The next ring is the discovering.
Discovering. So what's that about?
You go ahead.
Oh my. So naturally got the engagement ring, and the rings are set up in a way it really happens in your marriage, the season that you naturally go through. But again, sometimes you may end up back in the ring, or sometimes you may realize that we didn't gain what was necessary in that ring or in that season. So now we're hitting some bumps or hitting some rocky parts in our relationship. So the discovering is where you start to see your wife, your husband, as really who they are. You start to learn stuff about them that you ain't never know.
We say sometimes prior to saying I do, there was a representative, like I brought my best Stephana forward and he brought his best Jackie forward. And so that representative was representing. And then once you get married and you've been in it a little bit, you begin to discover some things about who that person is, not just that they're representative.
That representative has done his or her job, got you married, got you in this relationship. Now you hot fire and kick to the curb and everything comes out.
Yeah.
And so sometimes you see stuff, you're like, oh my goodness, be real. Sometimes you're like, you know what? I don't know if we'd have been able to be to this point where we are, say I do, had I known that. and vice versa. But even more so is you start learning about yourself and you start discovering things about yourself. I discovered I was focused on me. It didn't seem like a big thing when you're by yourself and you're focused on you, but when you have
someone else to consider, you see some things in yourself. That's so true. I think that when we first talked about this book and started, scripting it out, it really wasn't on the forefront of our mind but the Lord reveals things. As you begin to try to teach something, it's a two-edged sword. And so you get cut first. And so I think we recognize that, wait, there were some things that I learned about myself that I didn't really have to face prior to becoming a married person.
Yep. What's up, Neek and Ange? Glad y'all made it. Also on that, you're going to accidentally or just discover stuff as you go from living apart to living together in marriage and coming together, and your lives are now one. But you want to, one of the skills and one of the things that you want to get out of this particular ring in this particular season is to be intentional about discovering things about your spouse. So yes, we're going to find out that homeboy don't like to put his clothes in the hamper. His socks lay next to the bed. Homegirl, she
squeezes the toothpaste wherever she wants.
Forgot about that. We got a different kind of toothpaste thing now. It don't matter because you got the one where it's like I'm the one that you got to squeeze it from the back all the way to the front. And I'm looking at it's like smash here, smash there. I'm like, what is going on?
I fixed it. I bought a new tube that you can't squeeze and it won't get stuck.
It's like it holds the whole shape. I still start from the bottom though. So you can discover that stuff, but you also want to be intentional and be really focused on, okay, what am I learning about my spouse? What am I learning about my marriage? And my phrase, if you heard me speak before, you probably heard me say, my goal is to get a PhD in Stephana B. So I want to know her deeper than anybody else knows her and deeper than anybody else I know. To think about different degrees. High school degree don't take a whole lot of studying. Undergrad, a little bit more. Bachelor's or you get your master's degree and you get your PhD, you going into some deep study, intentional study, and you have an intentional purpose. You ain't just getting a PhD like you get a high school diploma to go on, to move on with your life. You're trying to do something. So I want to know her at that level. And so how do we practically do that? I use a practical tool. I take notes. I got, her sizes, her likes. When she says something, I try to jot it down. So when her birthday comes around, I have some ideas and just something that I've heard. That's a practical way to do it. I use a tool called Evernote. What are some ways that you have got a PhD in JB?
I think Jackie has taught us all in the house a lot about keeping notes. And so I keep my notes in my iPhone. And so we create that little thing and people can add to it. And we share. Yeah.
All right, go ahead. Sorry, you was flowing.
Yeah, so that's
keep it in your iPhone.
Keep notes.
I messed you all up, huh?
Where we going?
You got them in the notes. Hold on, I wasn't done there yet. All right, y'all. I just got her all flustered. That's pretty cool.
Yeah,
that is good. All right, y'all. Let's keep it moving. Let me check time. Hey, Dion, take notes. Yes, sir. You got to take notes. All right. So now we've covered the engagement ring, so your foundation.
We have to
Set
move
up.
quicker.
Yeah, we might not get it all through.
Okay.
So if we don't get through, we'll continue it. Okay. So your foundation is your is built, or your engagement ring is your foundation built on a relationship with Jesus Christ, doing some practical things to make sure that relationship is strong and continues to bring you closer to Him in addition to yourself. Wedding ring, that's that commitment, it's a covenant commitment, not a contractual commitment. And you got to find ways to show that commitment, small interactions, which is what I wanted to say earlier, and shared experiences. So date nights and things like that, continue to do different things so you get more interaction together. And then what do we say? The discovering we just covered. Intentionally learn about your spouse. All right. Now the next ring is, you want to say that one? You want to kick it off?
The persevering. So after discovering some stuff, you got to persevere, push through, decide, make a decision about moving ahead and staying one and living with this person you chose.
Yeah. Yeah. So you might discover that this person that you married is bad with money. And then that led to a perseverance season where your money is funny and your stuff is messed up. You might have discovered, some issues that have come up, whatever it is. Now you're in marriage and you're living long enough that anybody knows if you've been in marriage long enough, there's going to be some challenges. And so now that's where you're in that season. Like, okay, now we're here. What are we going to do? And what happens next? And this is the part where this is the fourth ring of 7. So it's right in the middle. And this is the part where some choose the fork in the road to go right. Some choose the fork in the road to go left and get out of the marriage. And so this is decision time of where you are. And these things that force you into this persevering season aren't necessarily internal. Sometimes they're external. It could be health, it could be sickness, it could be loss, it could be death, all these different things. It could be COVID-19 that's putting pressure on your marriage. But at the persevering, somebody told me at our very first speaking engagement, when we talked about the book, they're like, man, you left out a ring. And they were like, and I was like, huh? What? It's like the suffering. And so he's like, there's suffering in marriage. And so if you were saying I left out a ring, the suffering would be within the persevering. But we chose a word that shows that we are coming through this, because that's where you are when you're right here. It's like you are with the mindset of that we are going to make it through, and we're going to make it through better. We're going to make it through stronger, and we're going to make it through together. This ain't no go in my corner and fight and handle it over here. This is like, how do we come through this thing together? So during that season, this is where you got to kind of go back to your foundation. This is where you got to go back to that relationship with Jesus Christ and prayer and reading the word. And also in the wedding ring, that's where your commitment and your shared goals and vision and all that. So why do you go back to, why do we even get in this? What did we see? What did God show us? What purpose did He have for us? Those are the things that are going to help you to persevere, and just trusting that when we go through these things, that God's got something great that is being developed through our perseverance. It's just not for any particular reason, but when we come out, He's developing in us and working through us to do something great in us. All right. You good? You got something? Hey, what's up, Aubrey? What's up, Nick? Nicole's in here.
Hey,
right.
Y'all.
You good? You got the next ring. We got a few minutes. We might not get through all the rings, guys. If that be the case, we'll come back and share the rest of them another day.
How about we ask some questions about where they think they are, and then we finish the others tomorrow.
Great idea. So let us know, based on what you've heard, engagement ring, wedding ring, discovering, persevering. Right now, those 4 rings, and there's some other rings after that, so maybe you're past that. What ring are you guys wearing right now? Just drop it in the comment, whichever one it is. We're going to chat about it.
Or maybe you've been through a ring that you can attest to. So if that be the case, if we haven't gotten to your ring, but you know something about the engagement, wedding, or discovering, let us know.
Yeah.
Persevering.
Yep. Cool. All right. Let me check just to see who's in there. Make sure we didn't miss anybody. So we, of course, have been through, we've been through all the rings, but we've been persevering multiple times. And then like we went through and was like, oh, we're never going to struggle in our marriage, or there's never going to be any circumstances that bring some pressure and some hard times on us. That's been multiple times. And from, financial struggles, been homeless on 2 different occasions. We've had intimacy issues, all kinds of stuff. So, but at the end of the day, and as we even look back, and we'll talk about this later, as we look back on that, some of those hardest times were some of the ones where we were some of the memories that we still have now. When we were homeless, we still talk about some of the things that we did during that season, how our family was so close. I mean, it was very similar to this, where we are right now, kind of stuck. We were maybe sleeping in one particular bedroom of a friend's home, or your mom's room at home, I think, crib we went to for a period of time. We had hotel rooms that we were staying in, and our kids were young, and they didn't really understand the whole grasp of everything. But
Thought they were like, we got a pool, we get to go swimming.
everything that we weren't thinking about, because we were so caught up in the situation, was great to them.
Yeah.
And so it developed a lot of stuff. It developed our love for sharing meals at the kitchen table, because we were forced many times. We had to make sure we come together. Probably the one time we were going to connect and eat, and do all those different things. We went everywhere together, because we might have one car, or we might not have enough gas to be riding all over. So we got to all hop in and go do all of our stuff. I remember somebody said, man, every time we see you, we see her. Every time we see her, we see you. It's like they was just thinking, man, they just loving each other. They always together. They didn't realize that we just had no other option. we if she had an errand to run, because I might have had another one to run somewhere else, we had to go together. So that season was hard, but we made it. So let us know in the comments, whether you're joining on the replay, whether you're joining live, what season, based on what we said, what ring you think you're wearing right now, because we're not going to have time to cover the remaining 3 rings. So I don't want to cheat them, but they're really good, because the next 3 rings, y'all, are the restoring. So it's after you go through some stuff. And then the prospering, which I know everybody wants to hear about that. And then last but not least is the mentoring, where you've been through some stuff, and now you got some experiences, some notches under your belt, and you can be a blessing to other couples. So we're going to camp out at those when we do those next.
Yep.
All right. So guys, we're going to wrap up. Am I going right here correctly? All right, cool. So glad you guys joined us. If you haven't already, make sure you are in our group, Happily Married Couples Facebook group. Click up there in that search bar, type it in, click join. There's 3 questions that you need to answer. We'll see that, get your answers, boom, approve you for the group. You'll be in, and you'll be in the community, and you'll be able to give us feedback, enjoy all the different things that we do in that group. And you can also go to happilymarriedcouples.com, and that will give you a link to go directly to the group as well. Did I miss anything?
Nope.
All right. It's a wrap. Thank y'all. You want to close this out, babe?
We will see you tomorrow at 5.
I could have did that, huh?
Yes.
All right, y'all. See you tomorrow at 5. Oh, real quick. We got a guest tomorrow. It's our first guest. So I'm not going to reveal who yet, but just come back. She is amazing. You guys are going to enjoy her. And she's experienced something of what we've been experiencing over the last 4 weeks of this COVID-19, living in small, close quarters. She's experienced that with her husband, and she's going to be on here to share that. So come back tomorrow, y'all.
See you tomorrow.